Good evening, everyone. We're joined now by NC State head coach Kevin Keatts, student athletes. We have Dereon Seabron, Jericole Hellems, and Jaylon Gibson. We're going to start with an opening statement from Coach, and then we'll take questions.
Well, first of all, I would like to congratulate Clemson. I know, when you get in these situations, for you to be able to advance, it's always a big thing. And I thought they started playing really good basketball at the right time. When you look at those guys coming into this game, they'd won 4 in a row, and then obviously winning this game gives them their 5th win. I've said this plenty of times. I'm so proud of every kid in our locker room, and the reason being is because the way the season has gone, we had every opportunity to put our head down and cry and lay down and not play. Even though we were undermanned, I can tell you, I can honestly feel as a coach that our guys played and competed as hard as they can every opportunity that they've had. I always like to talk about my seniors before you guys ask me questions. The only one that's up here is Jericole Hellems, and I love him. He came to NC State before we proved anything. He came to play with me, him and Manny Bates, in the same year when it may not be the most popular thing to do. And 4 years later, he's become a really good basketball player. He will go down in the record books as a 1,000-point scorer. I'm disappointed because I thought he should have made one of the all-conference teams, if not honorable mention. But he makes my team, and I think that's the most important thing that I can say about him. And thank you, love you, appreciate you coming. As far as our guys in the locker room, the thing that we talked about is don't miss out on your lesson. And a lot of times people think there's lessons because you win the game. Well, there are a lot of lessons that we can learn through this year, okay? So we're all going to individually learn our lessons. We're going to figure it out, and we all will become better because of it. I will be the first to admit it's been a tough year. But if I'm going to go to a tough year, I want to go with the guys that I went through, because every single day, every practice, every game, I felt like they gave me everything they had. So appreciate everything. Questions?
If you have a question, please raise your hand and we'll get a microphone to you. Let's go front right here.
I don't think we can hear you, Corey.
All right, so Jericole, your final game here at NC State, just your thoughts on your career and obviously not the way you want to close it out, but just your thoughts overall.
Well, I just want to thank everybody that supported me throughout the 4 years that I've been here. It's been fun. I have ups and downs like anybody else, but the most important thing was just building relationships with certain people throughout my 4 years. So I'm so thankful for that, and I'm thankful for God putting me in the position that I am in. So
We'll go to Luke in the middle.
Dereon, Coach talked about lessons you guys can take from this season, and I know it'll take some time to reflect, but as of right now, what do you take away from the season, and what did you learn that you can say now?
When the conference games come, every game is going to be a possession game. So we gotta focus in on all the little things like boxing out, getting loose balls, not turning the ball over, so we can value the possession of the ball, because we know these games will come down to 1 or 2 possessions.
We're going to go to Brett in the front right here.
Kevin, did Clemson do anything in particular against Terquavion to defend him so well, or did he just kind of have 2 bad games against these guys and it was just a coincidence?
Brett, as funny as it sounds, he had 2 bad games. He just didn't make shots. Doesn't take away from a young man who's made 96 three-pointers. I know your question's more geared to, did Clemson do anything different? I don't think so. I just think he didn't make shots.
Let's go front left.
Coach, just what you can say about it. I know you talked about lessons learned. For Manny Bates to have to watch this season, you could see at halftime, kind of through him, you got that feeling that how much he wanted to be out there all year. Just to speak to that a little bit.
Yeah, it's weird. because sometimes we think about ourselves so much, but we don't think about the guys who don't get a chance or the opportunity to come out and play. And so when you look at, it was 2 games this year that I look back at Manny, and the pain on his face was unbearable. One of them was when we played at Duke, and Mark Williams had 8 blocks. And he was so frustrated because that was him. And then the other one was, I think, against Armando Baycoat, who had 6 blocks, and he was so frustrated. You know, he's another young man that has been through a lot. But when I say a lot, you know, he's been an NC State guy. And he's been through a lot of trials and tribulations, and it's been very frustrating for him. And I pray and hope that he gets back to 100% healthy because he's a really good basketball player. He was becoming a great offensive player. I think everybody knows about how good he could be defensively. The way he finished the year last year, and then the work that he put in to increase his outside shot, even out to 3, shows what type of person he is. But I will say this about him. I've never had a kid that was injured that didn't ever miss anything. He was at every meeting. He was at every film session. He traveled with us everywhere we went, and that says a lot about Manny.
We're going to go to Corey on the front right.
Dereon, I know obviously the season just ended, but what are your thoughts on your future at this point for next year in particular?
You know, right now I'm not really focused on that right now, but when the time comes, I'm going to sit down with Coach and my family, and we'll see, like, what's the best decision.
We'll go back to Brett.
Jaylon, piggybacking on the Manny question, you and EB really kind of got thrown into a situation where a lot of pressure put on you and a lot of responsibility. How did you guys handle that, and what did you learn from this experience?
I learned a lot. With this game, you got to grow up quick. It's not going to show no mercy, so you just got to grow up quick. Get some toughness about yourself and just pick up things. Like you said, Manny was out, had to pick up things like that. So,
When you go to the front left.
Coach, 4 for 23 from distance in tonight's game. Did you like the looks that you guys were getting, or was it just, you know, one of those nights from deep?
Yeah, I have no problem with our shots. We didn't make them, and you know, as I told you before, you know, the thing about Clemson, and I don't know if anybody will give them credit. You know, they may be the hottest team coming into the ACC, winning 4 games before they got here in a row, and then obviously today. But I thought we got good looks. They just didn't go down.
Time for 1 and 2 more questions. If you have a question on Zoom, please use the raise hand function. We'll go to the back of the room.
This question is for Coach. Coach talked about the lessons learned, not missing out on a lesson. What is your biggest lesson from this season?
I don't know. You know, it'll come to me. You know, I don't think you learn lessons right at the moment. I think it'll be a little time for us. We figure it all out. But there are lessons to be learned. You know, after every season, you know, I try to get away for a few days and kind of reflect on, as a coach, what can I do better? Has nothing to do with our players. You know, what can I and my staff do better? And, you know, I enter every year hoping to become better than the previous year because I've looked in the mirror and figured out some things that I could work on to get better to help our team. And I'll do the same thing this year. And I'm sure the lessons will come to me.
Anything else for NC State? Brett, we'll take the last one.
This is for coach and any of the players. What are the feelings now? I mean, are you guys relieved that this is over? I mean, is there frustration because of the way this thing finished? I mean, what's going through your mind right now?
I'll answer it first, and then I'll let these guys if they want to. I'm not relieved, and I don't think they are. You know, I should allow a camera crew in my locker room. There were guys crying. There were guys who were disappointed. Ernest Ross is crying, and he didn't play. You know, we didn't come to Brooklyn hoping to get this thing over. We came to Brooklyn with the opportunity to win, and obviously the opportunity was to try to beat Clemson to advance. And so from where I can see, our guys had no lay down, no quit, and they wanted the opportunity to win.
Jericole, do you also want to answer that one?
For me, I would just say any hooper that steps on the floor doesn't like losing. So, me as a competitor, I saw myself and my teammates going the distance and believing in one another. So, of course, it's disappointing, but like Coach said, you got to find a way to learn something and improve yourself.
Perfect. Thank you all so much.